Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Data Playbook. We're entering Week 16 this week with Thursday Night Football, starting with the Rams at Seattle. I don't have any major updates to make as well, so let's just get into the data. Starting off with your team data and your matchup, you have Seattle favored on the money line with a spread of 1.5 and a total line of 42.5. You had your team totals down here, so we're going to move over to the team averages for the season, and then look at their rankings, where you have LA with a really good offense, with a scoring rank of 2, a passing rank of 5, and a rushing rank of 11. And then they have about a more average offense, even though they have a really good allowed scoring rank of 4, their allowed passing rank is 18, and their allowed rushing rank is 11. For Seattle, you also have a pretty good offense, with a scoring rank of 5, a passing rank of 9, and a rushing rank of 18. And defensively, they're a little bit more above average, with an allowed scoring rank of 2, allowed passing rank of 14, and allowed rushing rank of 4. Moving into your quarterbacks, you have Matthew Stafford and Sam Darnold, with Stafford averaging just under 20 fantasy points per game, and Sam Darnold about 14.6. There's your player seasonal averages, and their week-by-week information if you need that. And with the turnovers, you have Stafford with 4 interceptions this season, and 2 fumbles lost due to sacks, as well as 1 rushing fumble. And then with Sam Darnold, you have 11 interceptions, with 4 fumbles lost due to sacks, and also 1 rushing fumble. Looking at how they impact the rushing game, you have Matthew Stafford with about 7.8% of the rushing carry share, but very little of the rushing yards, probably less than 1% of the rushing yards here. And a similar story for Sam Darnold with about 5.5% of the rushing carry share and about 5.2% of the rushing yard share. So the important part to note is that these two do not impact the rushing game very much. Next, you have your running backs with Kyren Williams and Kenneth Walker. Williams averaging about 15.6 fantasy points per game, and Walker averaging about 10.6. Once again, flipping over to their averages. And with their turnovers, you have Williams with 2 rushing fumbles this season, and Kenneth Walker has no turnovers. For their rushing percentages, you have Williams with 60.8% of the rushing carry share and about 63% of the rushing yard share, with the next biggest portion going to Blake Corum with a little bit more than a third of the rushing carry and rushing yards. With Kenneth Walker, you get about 49.6% of the rushing carry share and 54.8% of the rushing yard share. The next biggest portion is also about a third of the team's total rushing carries and rushing yards, which comes from Zach Charbonnet. Getting into your receivers, you have Puka Nacua and you have Jackson Smith and Njigba, but we'll stick with JSN. For Nacua, you get an average of 21.6 fantasy points per game, and JSN averages a little bit more than 22. Moving over to their seasonal averages, as well as turnovers, you have both receivers this season with 1 receiving fumble. And then moving into their charts, you have Puka Nacua with about 30% of the target share and about 37.8% of the receiving yard share, which is the largest portion of anybody else on the team. And similar for JSN at 31.8% of the target share and almost 42% of the receiving yard share. For the next set of receivers, you have Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp. Adams averages about 16.3 fantasy points per game, and Cooper Kupp about 7.8. Flipping over for their seasonal averages if you need it. And this season, only 1 turnover between the two of them, which is a passing interception for Cooper Kupp. And if you need any of this information, give it a pause, because we'll move to the charts, where you have Devontae Adams at 26.6% of the target share, and about 23% of the receiving yard share, making him the second most productive receiver on LA. And then with Cooper Kupp, you're at 13.9% of the target share and 13.9% of the receiving yard share. And that puts Cooper Kupp about 3rd back in the pack. Wrapping up with your tight ends, you have Colby Parkinson and A.J. Barner, with Parkinson averaging about 7 fantasy points per game, and A.J. Barner averaging about 8.4. Here's your seasonal averages for the two, and the only turnover comes from Colby Parkinson with 1 receiving fumble. Moving into their share, you have Parkinson with about 7.9% of the target share and about 7.1% of the receiving yard share. And then you have Barner with 13.2% of the target share and about 11.3% of the receiving yard share. So there you have it for your data. This should be a really good matchup because you have 2 teams that are 11-3 fighting for the top spot in the division. Right now, the big things that stick out to me is that you have this scoring rank of 5, which is pretty good, against this allowed scoring rank of 4. So that's going to be a real tough one for Seattle. But vice versa, you also have a scoring rank of 2 going against an allowed scoring rank of 2. So that should just equal out 2 for LA. In terms of the more broken down stats, you have this passing rank of 5 against this allowed passing rank of 14. So that will really benefit LA. And then almost similar and vice versa, you have a passing rank of 9 against an allowed passing rank of 18. LA also falls short here in their rushing rank of 11 against this allowed rushing rank of 4. And similar with Seattle at 18 versus this 11. So it really seems like this could go either way. I do think that the biggest thing here to note is this passing rank of 5 against this 14. So I think LA could have a great passing game, especially when they really need to score. And it's going to be a real stingy defensive game, it seems like, with this allowed scoring rank of 4 and then allowed scoring rank of 2 from Seattle. So purely the numbers would suggest that LA has a slight advantage here, but it is in Seattle. So I do think it could be a very interesting close game. but if I were going to go with the numbers, I would lean a little bit with LA. So there it is for Thursday Night Football. I hope you got something out of it and enjoyed, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe, and leave a comment on what other data you would want to see in the future. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for a couple Saturday games this week.